What's up, Warriors? It's James with TMUCT Campus Rec coming at you with another Advice of the Week segment. Today I will be talking about motivation, discipline, and the differences between the two. Now recently, as in today, I rewatched the Joe Rogan podcast segment with Spartan Race CEO and founder Joe Sena, and I listened very carefully to what they talked about when it came to having the motivation to do something, but also having the discipline to enforce that motivation and do something consistently. One thing I interpreted from it was that I can apply it to different facets of life, not just health and fitness, but also a few other things as far as school, family, work, etc. Essentially, they talked about how you can be motivated to do something by seeing someone on social media, listening to a motivational speaker, taking a look in the mirror, something like that. But if you don't have the discipline to act on it and enforce it, it doesn't really mean anything. Now I find this to go hand in hand with a TED Talk that I watched a good while ago about procrastination. And the speaker, who is Tim Urban, if you ever want to go watch it on YouTube, he talked about how some of us do better under pressure, and that could be, waiting until deadline or waiting until we have a lot of work to do or whatever the case may be. But basically, some of us use that pressure and the procrastination to help us finish our goals, our tasks, whatever the case may be there. I have, as many of you probably have, been kind of, someone who falls into this category for a few reasons. But one of the things is because we sometimes find excuses or ways to avoid it or, put it off, delay it, and we find that easier than actually getting through it. For example, had I not wasted a few weeks on doing my internship essay and whatnot, I could have had it done a week before the deadline instead of right at the deadline on the last day of school around midnight. Or if I had, because of COVID, decided to shut down the gyms. So I could have kept up a lot of my progress with the home workouts besides just the workout of the day videos, but slacked off, and then now I'm trying to catch up and get those gains back, get the progress back that I had since the last summer. So, but the issue is that it's made it difficult for me to get back into that kind of routine. So when you fall out of it, you have to try to get back into that routine. And thankfully, I've been able to kind of get back into it as far as somewhat healthy eating, going back to the gym, getting decent sleep every few nights or so. I mean, sleep. So, but one of the things that I found after listening to it for the second time now was I don't feel just the motivation to do something, but I'm finding that discipline within myself to get back and do what I need to be doing. Now I was able to get a lucky break, fortunately, as I think I've mentioned before, is that my Spartan Race was supposed to be this past May a few months ago, but it got moved to next May. So basically I got an extra year to do it. So right now I'm looking at about 9 months. And unfortunately though, it's that lack of discipline to where I could have had a lot of progress made or a lot of progress maintained the 2 months before and these last 3 months after that original date. Now why am I saying all this as we're getting close to this fall semester is because what we're dealing with right now in the world, our communities, our households, it is ultimately up to us to make sure we have that self-discipline, to make sure that we're taking care of our daily tasks, our short-term and long-term goals, everything in between. And some of us may not feel like tuning into those required virtual meetings. Some of us may find that being at home provides better opportunities for leisure and rather than classwork or homework. However, we do have to make sure that we do keep our priorities straight, make sure we keep aware of our deadlines, and also make sure that we're just getting things done. Give the same kind of high amount of effort as if COVID didn't exist. Unfortunately it does, but it's all about the mindset there. Now another thing that they talked about, which I find to be very true based on personal experiences, is that sometimes we find things to be very difficult. We find it to be near impossible, that we don't want to get it done. However, there is a certain type of feeling of satisfaction that we get from actually getting something done that we thought was, probably the hardest thing we ever dealt with in the world. It might be a 20-page essay. It might be getting through, some kind of 5K or 10K run. It might be training for whatever. But it's getting through that, and then that feeling of satisfaction that you actually completed that, like you did that. I don't know anyone who hasn't been without struggle, but I know plenty of people who have overcome many struggles. Now, the reason why I say this is because it might sound cliche, but there's a quote that I believe in, and it's be stronger than your strongest excuse. And the reason why I believe in that is because whenever you think something can't be done, but you actually put your mind and body to it, you actually realize that you're stronger, you're smarter, you're better than you think you are. And it's something that we usually kind of doubt ourselves every now and then, but once you kind of give that effort, you realize that, hey, I can actually get this done. Now, I can't speak for everyone, I can only speak for myself, but I am inspired by those who have actually overcome a lot of struggles. And so the main one that I want to talk about is going to be my dad. He is going to be running this with me next year at almost 50 years old. Hope I'm not calling him out too much on that, but almost 50 years old, deciding to run a Spartan sprint with me. Last year he made the decision to get his life in shape, his nutrition, his health, his fitness, all of that. And you know, hopefully we do well. I mean, I think we'll put forth the effort to do well, but we also want to make sure that you know, if we're getting through this, we've got the fitness, we've got the motivation, but we have to make sure we have the discipline. Check those boxes every day, make sure we're doing what we're doing. That way when we cross that finish line, it is to the best of our potentials, not just the bare minimum. Now that's what I hope for a lot of us. I hope we all live our lives to the best of our potentials, not just barely scrape by because of one excuse after the other. When I first started college, I had a lot of problems with my knees, my back, my shoulders a little bit because of a lot of the physical clubs and activities I was involved in high school. And I didn't want to go to the gym, and then after a while I gave myself that kick in the butt, started getting myself on track, got some momentum, and I realized just a small fraction of that potential of how much better my life could be. And that's kind of the hope that I have for a lot of us. So I'm going to wrap it up simply by saying, seriously believe in yourself. Seriously. Have the self-discipline to get up every day, do what you need to do, you know, check off those boxes like I said, and that way you can come home each and every day, day after day, and realize that some progress got made or something got completed by you and your efforts. So I hope this, you know, kind of reaches a lot of y'all. This applies not only to our health, fitness, all that, like I said earlier, but also school, jobs, family, life in general. So I hope you all have a really good weekend. Try doing something good for yourself this weekend. Go take a hike, enjoy nature, read a book, spend time with friends and family, but make sure that you give yourself a chance to kind of unwind, get yourself mentally and physically ready for this next semester, and you know, we'll see how this goes. But this has been James with TMUCT Campus Rec, and I will see y'all later.